Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. It's your host, Stephen Schmidt, back at it again. If you're joining us for the second, third, or 100th time, welcome back. And if you're joining us for the first time, where have you been? You're going to get a ton of value out of this, and I know it's going to be added to your regularly listening docket of podcasts. You're going to get a ton of value. I've got a real treat for you guys today. I got Jasmine Hagan in the house. She's got over 15 years in the real estate industry. She started out as a broker. She hails from the Chicagoland area, and she is now actually a developer, moving and shaking, doing big deals that some folks only dream of doing. So just remember, before we get started at Investor Fuel, we help real estate entrepreneurs, service providers, and real estate professionals 2 to 5x their businesses in order to build the businesses they've always wanted, so that way they can live the lives they've always dreamed of. That being said, Jasmine, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Stephen. I appreciate that. Love the intro.
You bet. Absolutely. I always try to make people feel like they're on the top of the world. So,
Yeah.
And with what you've got going on, I'm telling you what, you're moving and shaking. So let me ask you this, Jasmine, for our listeners' sake. I know we had a little bit of time to chat pre-show. What got you into the real estate business? What got you started? And how did you end up where you're at today?
Oh, wow. So that's a long answer, but in short, I'm so
You can
grateful.
do as long as you want, just to say. You're welcome
I'm so
to.
grateful to be blessed and fortunate to have parents that helped to mold and shape me to be savvy and investors. Unfortunately, I lost both of my parents by the age of 13, but
Wow.
before my dad passed away, I watched him on literally his deathbed battling with cancer, work to build his development business. And
Wow.
that stuck with me as a 13-year-old, seeing the dedication, and I revered my dad. Like, I absolutely adored my dad. So I wanted to be in his skin. And so watching him go through that at his, most trying time in his life, and see how committed he was, and that passion and his commitment to legacy, I knew that real estate was something I needed to continue on. And it's what most people say, that I guess my dad passed it down to me, and it's now part of my DNA as well.
No kidding. Wow. So this was modeled growing up for you for at least the better half of your childhood. So was dad always in real estate development at the time,
He
or was that
wasn't.
something that he found when you were a young kid?
Yeah, so this was something, and ironically, like both of my parents were migrants from the South to Chicago. So technically a first generation Chicagoan. My parents
Oh,
didn't have even a high school education. So both of them, that's why I said, like, in terms of the entrepreneurial spirit, I got that definitely from my parents. The
mm,
desire for more, for legacy creation and increase and long-term investments, absolutely from my parents. So with my dad, he was an entrepreneur doing business, in Chicago back then.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
A lot of the entrepreneurs were very involved in politics as well. So my dad developed certain relationships, understanding like the political landscape in Chicago, what was needed, and honestly started to fill that void. And a lot of businesses birth out of opportunity and just seeing what was missing and providing that to his local community. And then before he passed away, like maybe the last 2 years or so, he purchased a lot of real estate. And he was starting to get into real estate and understood the value of that and was literally he purchased every commercial property that he operated his businesses out of. And then he had like this land development deal, ironically, similar to what I was recently just awarded myself. But he didn't unfortunately get a chance to see that all the way through because he passed away from cancer before he could continue.
What an incredible story. So you quite literally are following in Dad's footsteps.
I guess you can say that for sure.
And it's kind of coming full circle. I'm sure we can talk about your deal a little bit here. Before we do that, though, so you kind of were raised with it a little bit towards the end of Dad's career. Did you jump into it immediately, like 18? You're like, I'm ready to go, get my broker's license, become a realtor. What was your actual start like for yourself professionally?
I not yes and no. So I of course,
Okay.
gratefully, I was able to attend college. I
Hmm.
graduated from Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, one of the top universities, colleges for Black women in the world.
Yeah, great
Um,
college.
so yeah, Spelman College is very prominent. And while there, I actually did some cool things. I studied abroad in China, and I would say it was that experiencing China, living abroad in Shanghai, traveling to Hong Kong, Beijing, like literally everywhere. I traveled all throughout, and I was absolutely amazed going from a beautiful, architectural city like Chicago to then going to China and seeing that and having, that first taste or insight of real estate and then actually seeing it actualize overseas. I'm like, I think that was the first time it actually clicked for me. I would see buildings go up so rapidly in China while I was there, like literally they're starting and they would finish before the end of my semester abroad. I saw some of this stuff come into fruition. And then when I got back to the States from my study abroad, there was certain opportunities that I was able to be in front of, such as a leadership and development program with CBRE. And I met some mentors, and they actually told me a lot about the opportunity. I got CBRE to actually start recruiting at my college for the first time ever. And now they have this huge program where they're looking for like a diversity program where they're bringing in more diverse talent and women. So I was very grateful to be a part of that. And I was hired into that leadership and development program. And it was from that, the building blocks of everything I do now, from how to position an asset, how to underwrite an asset, how to sell. I became a broker with CBRE directly out of college. And what was I, maybe 19, 20, something like that, when you graduate college.
You were 20
So
when you graduated college
yeah, this was
with
in
a
2011. Yeah.
okay, with a 4-year degree at 20?
Yes.
That's
Well,
incredible.
2011, I was born in 1989. I'm 36 now. So, yeah, that was 14 years ago. So, nope, I was
Wow.
22 apologies.
Wow, that's awesome.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So, first of all, do you speak Chinese? I mean, you had to have picked something
Right.
up while you were over there. Love it. That is the correct answer. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love it. What you have literally been in almost every major cultural melting pot on Earth. I mean, subtracting India, which who knows, maybe you spent some time there too. I don't know. You've literally been in all of them. Chicago, Atlanta, China. I mean, that's
Yeah.
incredible. What is that experience? How has that experience of seeing all these different cultures molded you over the past, 15 years?
Oh, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. It, I didn't know it then, but absolutely I know it now. And while in China, of course, I lived it up because the affordability is much different.
Right.
So when I
For
found out
sure.
how far my dollar stretched,
Yeah, you're living like
it's
a queen over there. I'm telling you
for
what,
sure.
man. I've thought about moving my whole family to like Thailand for a few years. I'm like, good grief, y'all. We'll just do business here in the States and move to Thailand for a few
And
years.
I
Y'all
believe
eat
this
too
was like
much.
in 2009, 2010. So, since then the gap is shrinking a bit, but
Right.
I had a good time.
Slightly.
I had a good time. So seeing major hotels, obviously, like being in Chicago, all the major hotel chains are here. But then going there and seeing it, but it's taken up a notch. Like in terms of
Mm,
luxury, I think that was my first entry into luxury, but affordable luxury, right? I could see
right.
them making more affordable choices and the materials. I don't know why, but I kind of gravitated towards it.
Mm,
And then coming back here, that's pretty much has been my thing, like from my experiences in Chicago. Like I would rent. This is another thing that I would do. I would actually rent out apartments I didn't buy right away. I would rent and stay with the hottest developer in town, and I would rent out their units from apartments, staying in high rises, and I will always check out the finishes, the quality of building material, and things like that. I kept my eyes and ears open all the time. And I think it was a mixture of all of these experiences. And then when I'm actually able to translate that into my own builds and my own rehabs, new construction, whatever it is that I'm doing, all of that comes back. And I think that really helps me to make affordable decisions, design decisions that will drive and be more cutting edge and modern, but affordable.
100%.
So I absolutely
So,
have to credit my travel experiences to that.
nice. Now, so when you got back, you got started working in the real estate biz, post college, everything. What were like the first deals that you focused on? Was it just primarily retail? And then how did you end up transitioning and then becoming a developer and doing what you've been doing now as, a business owner for the last 6 years?
And I tried some of everything, and I coming from CBRE, they trained me in all asset classes. So I didn't really focus much on retail. I did that while at Marcus and
Mm,
Millichap, but at CBRE they prepared me for multifamily, office, and industrial. So after I left there, I was really looking for, and I grew up in a small neighborhood on outside of downtown Chicago, where there's a lot of industrial, manufacturing things going on like that. So I literally leveraged what I saw around me, and I was able to kind of couple that with what I experienced on the job. And then I did like what my parents did. I looked for the opportunities, what were missing. And what I realized is there was a tons of manufacturing opportunities. There's tons of um, um, retailers that weren't necessarily the retail hub wasn't there, but they were manufacturer.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
What you have now, like Amazon, it wasn't back then. I can't remember like the companies or whatnot, but there was a lot of industrial opportunities. So I focused on that afterwards, and I went to a smaller investment firm, Marcus and Millichap, and I focused on industrial and retail. So in these urban areas, there's tons of mixed use. And that's how that's how I learned about mixed use. And it was the nice merger between commercial and residential. And it was manageable enough for me to take on by myself. And so what I did was I bought my first mixed use property, and it changed my life.
Tell me about that deal.
Yeah. So that literally, in Chicago and major markets where there's tons of residential neighborhoods or like tons of renters. When you have tons of renters, there's usually like a commercial district where there's retail and apartments at the top. So I noticed, I'm seeing a lot of these in my neighborhood. Most of these are boarded up, abandoned, or they're not functioning, or mostly stabilized. So, and then another thing was I noticed that these properties were cheaper than buying a 4-unit right out. And then I also had a great relationship because I knew how to build relationships with stakeholders such as lenders, underwriters, to understand how a deal can get done. So after speaking with my mortgage broker at the time, she informed me that, hey, you don't actually just have to, I wanted to maximize my first purchase. And she informed me that I didn't actually have to just buy a 4-unit, that I could also buy a mixed use property that has retail or office at the bottom, but no more than 4 apartments at the top. And so that's what I did. I was able to find a deal. The purchase, the list price was like $299. I was like, what? They had 4 tenants already occupied. It was cash flowing a little over almost $4,000. So you already know, if you purchase price $299, 4 tenants occupied, both of the retails were occupied. One of the tenants were paying $2,000 a month. The other tenant was paying $1,000 a month. And they had security deposits. So all of that at closing, I got a check. And the state of the property, it was in distress for sure. 2 of the apartments were vacant and it needed some updating. But one of the things that I did realize that on the outside, most of these mixed use properties look run down, but when you actually go inside, they're beautiful. They're beautiful, nice and airy, spacious. And most of the properties are on larger lots that have like huge parking lots in the rear or on the sides. And the positioning of the properties are actually really nice as well. So you have a lot of frontage, so traffic and things like that. So as a business owner, and both my husband and I are entrepreneurs, I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to leverage having an income producing asset. We actually moved in this property and we kept one of the units vacant for us to operate our businesses out of. And we updated and stabilized the other 4 units. We kept the retails and then worked with the apartments slowly, updated them and transitioned the tenants into their lease expiry.
Wow.
And of course, increased rents.
And right, yeah, exactly. And what you're talking about right now is like the ultimate house hack, because you got into it, immediate equity, got a check at closing, and
Absolutely.
you already are cash flowing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think made that the perfect real estate deal? Do you think those are out there anymore, or with like rates where they're at right now, and Because, I mean, just how drastically that changes things. Do you think that folks have opportunities to find something that's just like a cherry on top like that
Oh,
anymore? Or do you
absolutely.
think it's
I think
harder to
the
find?
open-mindedness is the biggest thing. Like I said,
Mm,
from the outside, and it was so funny. My realtor at the time, she was telling me like, "Are you sure you want to see this place?" She rode by and was looking at the exterior, and they're usually the ones that don't have photos of the inside. So I
right.
love those. Those are the diamonds in the rough. You
You
have to
bet.
go and see these deals. I would say I don't buy, and I learned that from my corporate experience. I don't buy off emotion. I look at the bones of the deal, the structure of the deal. How good is the deal on paper? So I knew off the bat, I knew that I was already, by me deciding I wanted to purchase mixed use, and the way I wanted to maximize that, I knew I needed to find 4 apartments. That was my first thing. 4 apartments, and however many retail, all of that will be bonus. So that will be extra cash flow because the mortgage broker will only use the apartments to underwrite the deal. So however many retail I'm able to acquire are essentially just my profits, right? So I started out looking for more than one retail because I wanted to have that cushion, because it's riskier with the retail. So I wanted to at least be able to afford the mortgage with one of the retails alone. So I was looking for 2, 3, and 4 retails with 4 apartments on top. That's a 8 unit. It's not as likely. These are needles in a haystack, but I was searching, and I ultimately was able to find a 6 unit with 2 retails at the bottom and 4 apartments up top. So I would say just focus on the characteristics of the deal that you want. If you know what's the max you can do for your loan, max that out in terms of unit count as well as dollar amount, and go in the cheapest neighborhood you can find in terms of taxes, because that's going to really structure the deal. And then a neighborhood that it's mostly renters, so more urban area, high traffic, a lot of commercial going on, um, commerce, like in terms of retail and things like that. It will always be a win because there will be always traffic, always people coming and moving inside of this neighborhood. And I knew with that strategy, I would find a winner. And there's nothing but upside. So if you buy low, obviously, if you do any type of renovations or even just stabilizing the property and putting renters in there, it will be an instant win. And that's what we did.
Now, so tell us a little bit about the deal that you're working on now, because you've got a pretty big development coming in. Tell us a little bit about that deal structure. I love what you said in that previous portion where you make decisions based on how good the deal is, not based off your emotions towards the deal. So
Absolutely.
how has that led you into being where you're at now with the development that you've taken on? And what does that
Yes.
look like? How does that entail over the next how does it play out over the next year?
Yeah, so I always start with the end in mind. So literally everything I'm doing now has been my a part of my 5-year plan. And like I
Nice.
said, I'm 6 years in the business, right? So
Sure.
this is the manifestation and execution of my 5-year plan. And I knew I needed to make bold and intentional strategic plays in order to take me from zero to my goal was $50,000 a month in cash flow on rentals. So I'm not going after the single family homes that wouldn't get me there. So that's why I say things like maximize your return. And that's in turn for an investor, maximize your
Right.
total units you have per deal. And that's why I
And
found
can
the
we
sweet
just
spot.
point out that your 5-year plan, like it's 2020, for those of you listening in like 2050, in case you guys have forgotten history at this point, her 5-year plan started in 2019, which means that this has still continued to manifest even through a national a worldwide pandemic, right? Like that's pretty insane to say that like you started with this goal in 2019 and had that kicker thrown at you a year into business and you're still on track towards that actual 5-year goal you set back then. Just incredible.
Absolutely.
As I just want to point that out for folks.
Absolutely. Thank you. And that's why you have to, keep it simple, write it down. Write the plan, write the plan and make it simple, and
Right.
just stay the course. because in real estate, if you just stay the course, you will win. That's the most beautiful thing about real estate. Properties are always appreciating. So if you just hold on and hold out, you buy real estate and wait. You don't wait to buy real estate. So that's why you just have to execute. So that's what I did. I wanted to 10x. I wanted to double my portfolio every year. So I started with six units, but I was like, okay, it's not realistic for me to do 12 the next year. So I just thought about it as one property. So I started to buy 2 units, and then from there, 3 units, and doubling them or either increasing the unit count year over year. And then I got more savvy. I was like, okay, well, actually, you have to ask yourself and pivot where need be. Is this manageable for me? I don't want to have, my goal isn't for me to get my $50 million, I'm $50,000 a month. I want to be strategic. I don't need 50 houses making $1,000 every month for me to get that $50,000. That will be too much for me to manage because I still have other things. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I want to have a life. I love to travel. I want to have freedom and peace of mind in what I do. So I'm like, okay, well, what's the fastest way for me? Again, taking a pencil and paper and doing the numbers. What's my average rent I want to make? And what's the sweet spot for the property type? Is it 2 units? Is it 3 units? Is it 4 units? What's going to be your play that works for you? And then I narrowed that down and decided to do 3 units. And then from there, I focused on one neighborhood where I would purchase all of my properties. I noticed like all of my properties are typically, or the deals that I like are typically in one neighborhood. And it so happened to be the neighborhood that I once lived in, I grew up in, and I know a lot about it. So I have insider information. And I can look around and see. And I'm also one of those change agents in this neighborhood that is literally forcing the value to go up and bringing in new deals on market because I'm also renovating, force appreciation. So these are how you guarantee your wins. Being strategic about where you buy, what you're buying, how you're going to buy it, and what's your exit strategy. So I knew all of those 4 things going in, and I kept that plan and executed year over year over year. And now I have an average rental amount of $2,000 a month. So I have 15 units, so I'm at 30,000 a month. And if I use that strategy, right, it's simple math. If I want to get to 50,000 a month, I just need to I can double my portfolio. Maybe I buy 5 more buildings, or maybe I buy 1. But I have this formula and this process for the type of, not only the type of building, but also what's the unit mix. How many bedrooms do you need per unit? So I like 3 units, and I need at least 3 bedrooms because that maximizes my rent. So that was my strategy. And I took that from my buy and hold strategy to fix and flip. And then now new construction. It's the same plan, pivoting for different exits, but the same plan.
You bet. And to clarify on a note, so when you talk about like your 50,000 in cash flow, are you talking about like gross cash flow?
Gross, yeah.
Nice. Absolutely. So let me ask you this. If you were to go back to when you got started, let's just say in business 6 years ago, what would you have done differently and what would you have done the same knowing what you know today?
Oh, that's a great question. Oh my. I would say the biggest thing that I did, the biggest thing that I didn't do, which I wish I've done, and I wish other people knew this as well, is not be so hard on myself. Because I was so stringent about the plan I needed to execute, I was moving so fast and I didn't have any breaks. And literally not much of a life, to be honest. Of course, I married and had a baby and all of that. So gratefully, life was still happening, but it wasn't my most proudest moments emotionally. So that would be the one thing I would focus on is my mental health
Mm.
and mental and emotional health throughout it all, and to just be more patient with myself because I would just beat myself up about this 5-year plan.
Sure.
I'm not there yet. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Right.
Um, and it's okay to pivot. And as long as my end goal not only is a monetary goal, but it's that peace and it's that flexibility and enjoyability of life. And I have that. So.
You bet. Love that. Now, how involved for those people that are married out there, how involved do you have your spouse in the business, or is he totally doing something completely different? Is there no involvement? What does that dynamic look like for you guys?
Yeah, I'm very grateful. I actually married my school sweetheart.
Wow.
So my husband has been my best friend and my partner throughout every aspect of my life, most transitions. So we've literally grown up together. So there's no me without him. My husband has a successful business that he operates gratefully, independently on his own, and I
Wow.
primarily focus on the real estate business. But we support each other, of course, as husband and wife. Um, and if we need, seed money, investments, absolutely, we're there for each other. So he's a partner. He's my partner always in everything.
That's
But
incredible.
I run the day to day.
Sure. Yeah, and that's what I assumed. That's why I asked more so like, oh, like do you guys work together versus like how much involvement do you have him in on with it? So
Yeah.
that's super
It's an
cool.
interesting dynamic. Most people they see me and are like, okay, well, where's your husband? Where's the man
Right.
behind all of this? It's like,
Right.
oh, actually, it's little me.
Right.
Um,
Which I bet is
um,
so annoying because like, it is uncommon, but at the same time, like, I mean, even just a 5 minute conversation with you and it's very clear that you're the head honcho making the shots. But I think that's just the way the world is, right? We've been stuck in this several thousand year idea of it's women supporting men, and like in all honesty, it's been a very interesting world that's been created the last 30 years especially because of how much more opportunity and how much you're able to actually do. But there's still like that, old mindset behind exactly what you're saying. So, which makes it, in my opinion, even more incredible of what you've achieved. So,
yeah, thank
love
you.
that a lot.
But definitely credit to my husband who, mentally, emotionally, the support he gives me to continue and to face what you're saying. Um,
Right?
I couldn't do it without it, right? Because
Yeah.
I go out in the world and I face these giants, and I go home and I cry to him, and he helps me to face it. And it's
Yeah.
like different faces. I give all of that to him, and I have to be emotionless about my business and
Sure.
keep it about the business and just don't take anything personal, stick to the plan. I put my head down and I get the things done. I get my work done. And my husband supports me. He encourages me emotionally and financially. That really helps me to stand strong and give me that strong foundation.
Which you're making a great note and a great point here of just how important picking your spouse is, because if
Absolutely.
you didn't have that, things could be drastically different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And another thing I learned, most people go out into real estate and they are partners. They have 50-50 partners, not just their spouses, but an actual person that's in the business day to day with them. And I had this crazy idea to go alone. And
Yeah.
I would say that will be another thing that I wouldn't suggest this for someone else starting out. I would say partner with someone, collaborate, but I didn't have that option, and not starting wasn't an option for me either. So I just went alone.
Understand. Well, Jasmine, where can people connect with you, learn more about what you're working on, and get to know you better?
Absolutely. I'm at She Talks Millions on Instagram. You can follow our YouTube that we're starting out. We're going to be kick starting a lot of amazing things to follow our process of flipping to new construction and how the average person can also make that make that investor journey from just starting out to being curious about how to gain extra passive income through real estate investing, whether you want to buy and hold, if you want to actually start to do more investor engagement in terms of buying and flipping properties, and then the final step of if you want to actually build from the ground up. So we have all of that on our social. She Talks Millions on Instagram as well as YouTube, and we'll be launching our new mentorship program that will help mostly women. My sweet spot is for women because most women think they can't do it, or they feel inadequate or not prepared enough, and we procrastinate and wait until we're 100% ready, which is perfection is non-existent, especially in real estate. So you just have to get it done. And we are also building 9 market rate homes in the North Lawndale neighborhood. So if you are a buyer or an investor looking to put your stake in the ground in the most competitive market in all of Chicago urban real estate, we are selling 9 new construction free flats, and that information can be found on our website, westsidepartner.com.
Love it. Go show her some love from the Real Estate Pros and Investor Fuel, y'all. Go drop her a follow. I already followed you. She Talks Millions on Instagram for those of you that didn't catch it in the beginning. Thanks again for being here, Jasmine. Hope you guys got enough value out of this, or not enough. I know you got enough, but I hope you guys got a ton of value out of this as much as I did. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much, Stephen.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.